Hi, today we want to talk about new products on the channel. So if you are new here, I'm Aland on the Aland Studio channel. Please support me by subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting. And I will answer all your questions. Thank you for being here. And let us not waste more time, so we start.
The new Sony ZV-E10 Mark II initial review. The Sony ZV-E10 Mark II is the company's second-generation APS-C vlogging ILC. It brings a new sensor, a larger battery, and improved video specs. Key features: 26-megapixel APS-C BS-ICMOS sensor, full-width 4K at up to 30p, 4K, 60p from a 1:1x crop, 5/6K capture, 10-bit video capture, S-Cinetone color mode and creative look options. Imports LUTs for previewing, embedding, or applying to S-Log3 footage. 3 capsule mic with automatic directional focus option. No mechanical shutter. The Sony ZV-E10 Mark II will be available from early August at a recommended price of $999 body only, or $1,099 with an updated 1650mm f3.5560 optical steady shot Mark II retracting power zoom. These prices represent a $300 increase over the original version. The ZV-E10 Mark II will be available in black or white. The white version will come with a silver version of the 1650mm power zoom that won't be sold separately. New sensor. The Sony ZV-E10 Mark II uses the same 26-megapixel backside illuminated sensor CMOS sensor we've seen in the S6700 and the Pro Video FX30. It's a much faster sensor than the one in the previous version of the camera, and is able to deliver 4K video at up to 60 frames a second, where the previous version had to crop in to shoot at 30 FPS, meaning it showed significant rolling shutter in its 4K modes. 10-bit video. The Sony ZV-E10 also gains a newer processor, allowing the camera to capture 10-bit video. This allows it to record log footage with plenty of precision, which allows greater flexibility when grading color and tone. It also means the camera can capture true HDR footage for playback on HDR phones and TVs. All the camera's 4K modes are taken from oversampled capture, 6K for modes up to 30p and 5/6K, with a 1:1x crop for the 50 and 60p modes. There's no in-body stabilization in the camera, so digital stabilization applies a further 133x crop, meaning the 1650mm kit lens ends up giving a 32mm equiv field of view at its widest. If you want to use more than just the lens's optical shake correction, and 35mm equiv in the high frame rate modes. Updated features. The Sony ZV-E10 Mark II doesn't include Sony's AI processing unit, but includes some of the latest subject recognition algorithms, we're told. It also gains the focus breathing compensation function that, with recognized Sony lenses, crops into the narrowest effective field of view, then progressively adjusts the crop and scaling to maintain consistent framing as the focus distance changes. The Sony ZV-E10 Mark II also has the Cine Vlog mode from the ZV-1 Mark II, which gives a wide S screen to 0.35. One look with black bars top and bottom and shoots at 2.4p. Onto this various looks and moods can be applied to give a stylized appearance to your footage. There's no sign of Sony's auto framing modes, though, so you can't set the camera on a tripod and let it crop in and follow your subject around the scene, nor set a subject's position in the frame and have it crop to maintain that positioning as you're filming yourself at arm's length. Larger battery. The Sony ZV-E10 Mark II now uses Sony's larger NPFC100 battery, allowing it to record for much longer. Sony did not disclose battery figures prior to launch, but the FC100 has always made cameras much more usable than the smaller FC50 used by the original Sony ZV-E10 Mark I. Updated kit zoom. The Sony ZV-E10 Mark II typically comes bundled with the Sony E-Pour Zoom 1650mm f3.55.6 optical steady shot 2, a refreshed version of its compact, retractable power zoom. The version 2 gains the ability to focus while zooming, helping to keep your subject in focus if you change the focal length while recording, and also communicates information to help the camera's stabilization efforts. In principle, the lens can focus fast enough to work with 120 fps shooting, in the unlikely event anyone ever attaches it to an A9 Mark III. However, Sony has not made any changes to the optical design of the lens, which we've never been particularly impressed by. Perhaps the biggest benefit of the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II over the original is the faster readout of its sensor. The Mark I exhibited a lot of rolling shutter in 4K, 24 mode and had to crop in to deliver 4K 30. By contrast, the new camera can shoot at 4K 60 using most of the sensor, meaning it's over twice as quick as its predecessor. It's worth noting the differences. Compared with the more expensive A6700 II, the A6700 has a fender, in-body stabilization, twin control dials on its top plate and a mechanical shutter, and is able to shoot 4K 120 if you can live with a substantial 158x crop. These are all omitted from the less expensive, more influencer-focused Sony ZV-E10 Mark II. Body and handling. The downside of this is that the controls and operation also feel more like a next model, rather than one of Sony's latest cameras, if you attempt to shoot stills with it. Unlike the twin dial, A6700, there's only a single top plate dial on the ZV-E10 Mark II and an awkward, fiddly rear face dial that we've been trying to avoid having to use on Sony cameras for more than a decade now. The interface is primarily touchscreen based, allowing direct operation while you're holding the camera to face you. There are also dedicated buttons, both for bokeh mode, which opens the aperture up to a value that can be adjusted in the menu, and product showcase mode, that tells the camera to prioritize nearby objects over face detection. Both buttons can be customized to perform other functions, if you prefer. The ZV-E10 Mark II is the first Sony to rotate its interface display when you rotate the camera, to make vertical video capture easier. We didn't find the ZV-E10 Mark II the easiest camera to hold, if we were facing toward it, to vlog, so we suspect the optional vlogging handle, table tripod with its Bluetooth connected controls, will be really valuable. Trying to hold the camera at arm's length without it just meant constantly nudging the zoom rocker on the lens, and not being able to reverse the effect without stopping recording, and bringing the camera back into two hands to push the zoom back out to wide angle. Battery. The use of the larger APS-C 100 battery sees the battery life rating jump from the 440 shot per charge rating of its predecessor to 610 shots, using the standard SEPA testing methods. As always, these numbers underestimate the number of shots many people get, so double this number is entirely plausible. For a vlogging camera, we'll also quote the SEPA video figures, which are 195 minutes of recording, if just left to run, assuming you don't run out of card space, or overheat before then, and 130 minutes using the SEPA actual shooting duration test, which involves more start recording, zooming of the lens and turning the camera on and off. Both are based on full capture, not 4K. Initial impressions vlog. Rather than write my impressions of the ZV-E10 Mark II, I used it as intended, vlogging my thoughts to the camera. All sound was captured using the camera's internal mix.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy it, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Here is Alan in Alan Studios' YouTube channel. Peace.